All right. So today we're going to read a book called The Night Train. It is written by Yof Stark and Sarah Nilsson Bergman. Okay, so based off the title, what can you predict the book is about? The Night Train. Okay, cool. So it's going to be about, so I see in the title alone, I see the word night and then I see the word train. So, and I'm also looking at the picture or the illustration, as some may call it. Now I can kind of predict that the story may be about the train going through the night. All right, cool. Let's see. What is the book about? The boy is lying in bed with his cuddly dog. On the floor is the train set he was playing with until his mom came in and told him it was time for bed. "Sleep tight, sweet dreams," she said. But the boy can't get any sleep. He's thinking, "I wonder if I ever have any friends. I don't know anyone here." He has just moved to a new town with his parents. "It will be all right," he says to himself, but it doesn't help. He's still worrying. He can hear the sounds from the nearby railway station, the rumble of arriving trains, the squeaking brakes, and the bangs when they disconnect and connect with their carriages. His thoughts turn into dark clouds that fill the room. So there he is. He's lying in bed. He's thinking, I wonder if I ever find any friends here. Okay, so his thoughts turn into dark clouds all around his room, as you can see in the picture here. Okay. Two headlights light up the darkness, and all of a sudden, there on the floor is a steam locomotive, just like the one he was playing with a while ago. Black and red and shiny, only much bigger. And it has a freight wagon behind it. It's shuffling and snorting. "I hope it doesn't wake Mom and Dad," the boy thinks. "Choof, choof, no chance," pants the locomotive. "Grown-ups can't hear me." "But you seem to be able to hear what I'm thinking," says the boy. "Yes, I can, and I know what you're feeling. That's why I'm here. I think you need a cheering up. You need to have some fun." "That's true," says the boy. "I don't have any friends here." "Give my steam whistle a pull and see what happens," says the locomotive. The boy gives it a pull, and steam comes gushing out with a loud peep. The steam whirls round and round, sweeping up the darkness and making it smaller and smaller. Eventually, all that's left is a hard, black little ball. "Put it in the freight wagon," says the locomotive. It's only small, but the boy has to use all his strength to pick it up. He carries it to the wagon, which is full of balls. They look like sad faces. "What are all these balls?" the boy asks. "Children's worries. So you don't have to have them tonight." Straight away, the boy feels he can breathe more easily. Where are we off to, he wonders. Firstly, to unloading. After that, you have to change trains, says the locomotive. Okay, so there he is. So he's having a tough time picking up those black balls. And he asks the locomotive, "What are these black balls?" And the locomotive said they are what? They are children's what? Worries. Okay. The train drives straight through the closed window. They fly over the town. They can see the railway station in the park next to it, with its swings and climbing frames, and all the houses where the boys and girls are sleeping. "It actually looks really nice," thinks the boy. "It is," says the locomotive. "You'll notice that." "You're puffing ever such a lot," says the boy. "Well, it's heavy work pulling all these worries along. Heavy, but important." "But how can you manage without rails?" "There are rails, moon rails." "Can't you see them?" And then the boys can see them. Rails of moonlight, shimmering silver, almost transparent, leading to a place with only a few lonely trees. There's a sign that says unloading. There is a tower of boxes there, just like the one in the freight wagon. Workers in red and blue clothes are helping to unload the stack them. The boy sees the big yellow crane lifting their box. That's the last load for tonight, says one of the workers. Well done, locomotive. You can go back now and get some rest. You look tired. I am. But first, the boy has to go to the station to change trains. At the train change, there are lots of trains with their engines running, as they are eager to get going. Which one do you want to catch? Asked the locomotive. The white one, says the boy after thinking for a few moments. Ah, the silver arrow, yawns the locomotive. You can just go over there. I can't wait to get some rest. And the locomotive reverses into the locomotive shed. The boy is already missing it. It was so safe and friendly, but it's also exciting to get onto a new train. Please hurry up, says the silver arrow. The sooner we get going, the more you have time to see. When the boy and the dog have it set, the silver arrow sets off. It travels over the meadow, peace and quiet, it says on a sign. There are cows and sheep grazing in the meadow, along with a giant water buffalo. Boys and girls are lying on the grass watching the clouds float by. And the sun is shining brightly, even though it was just nighttime a minute ago. The train slows down and stops. Is this where we're going? Asks the boy. No, says the silver arrow. But you have to switch the points because the track splits here. The boy can smell the lovely scent of the meadow flowers. He can hear the water buffalo snorting just like the locomotive. He feels like stopping here, but then he thinks, peace and quiet is nice, but a bit of adventure would be good. I thought so, said the silver arrow. They go through a tunnel. When they come out, they're in a forest, and it's twilight. A bit scary, says a sign on the railway embankment. You have to tell me if you think it's too frightening, says the silver arrow. I can always reverse. No problem, says the boy, because he suddenly remembers how nice it can be just a bit scared, and how nice it is afterwards when you've come through it okay. The trees are stretching out their branches as if they want to grab him. Bright eyes look out from the bushes, and there are monkeys making ugly faces. Don't be afraid, he says to his cuddly dog. It always feels better if you're comforting someone else. Okay, so and you can see here are the monkeys making ugly faces. He tells his dog, don't be afraid. It's always comforting when you have someone else. You did well in the scary forest, says the silver arrow. Now, let's see if you can get us across the bridge to Wish. Why would that be so hard, he wonders. And then he sees it, a black gorilla sitting on the rails in front of the bridge, a big one. Is it dangerous? asks the boy. Not as far as I know, replies the silver arrow. But it is stubborn. So the boy takes the dog and goes up to the gorilla. Hello, he says. You're in the way. Could you please move aside a bit? But the gorilla doesn't move a muscle. The boy notices how sad it looks and how longingly it's looking at the cuddly dog. Would you like to hold it for a while? The boy passes the dog to the gorilla, who takes it in his massive hand and holds it against its cheek. Then it slowly gets up and moves to the side. Hums the gorilla and rocks the dog. And the boy seems to hear the dog says, After a while, the gorilla hands the dog back. Thanks, it says. You can go now. They drive out onto the bridge. straight into the setting sun, which is shining red like a stop signal. Underneath it, the big river flows. A shiny silver fish jumps in the water, and there's a boat there with lanterns, cheerful flags, and a whole brass band, including a tuba, trombone, and trumpets. Good, said the silver arrow. You granted someone else's wish. Now it's your turn to be granted your wish. But what is my wish? Wonders the boy. After all, what could be more exciting than doing all of this? You'll see when we get to our destination, says the train. And when will that be? The train doesn't answer. But on an arrow it says, there, very soon. The brass band plays a fanfare. The silver arrow whistles in response. Okay. From the bridge, they carry on up into space. They travel between some stars, and then they're there. You're here, it says on the station building. All passengers, please, all light, says the silver arrow. Is this where I'm going? Wonders the boy. He looks around. There's not much to see. There's another train there, a red one. Apart from that, there are just a few trees, a large rock, and a path. Is this really what I wish for, he thinks? Don't worry, just put the dog down, says the silver arrow. It has a wish too. Me? I'd like a bit of peace and quiet so I can chat with my red friend. As soon as the dog is on the ground, it barks happily, wags its tail, does a few jumps, and runs off. It has wanted to do that for a long time. The boy watches it disappear behind the rock. Hey, doggy, wait for me. Behind the rock, it's like a room of lilacs. There's a table packed with meatballs and mashed potato, a jug of squash, and a cake with strawberries. There are 2 places set, a glass and a plate on each, and 2 chairs at the table. On one is a girl with the dog at her feet. Finally, says the girl, please have a seat. First we'll eat, then we'll play. What are you doing here? Asked the boy. It was my birthday last week, but I was ill. I did get some presents, but I couldn't have a party. So I'm having my party now. Happy birthday, even though it's late, says the boy. But why am I here? If you're having a party, you have to have guests, smiles the girl. And what was your wish? I was sad for being alone, but now I have you. Okay. After eating, the boy and the girl play together. As they run along, soft grass grows beneath their feet. When they want to play ball, a red ball drops down from a tree. When they get hot, a small cloud appears only over their heads and sends down a little rain. Woof, says the cuddly dog, and comes running up with a stick in his mouth. It wants to play as well. They throw the stick and the dog runs and fetches it until the dog can't run anymore, and the children can't throw anymore either. It would be nice to just sit on a swing now, says the girl. As soon as she has said it, 2 swings fall down from a branch. The wind blows on their backs. Here they can sit and wiggle their toes. Some way off, they can see the silver arrow and the red train chatting to each other. What a wonderful birthday, says the girl. Yes, a wonderful night, says the boy. And then he sighs as he has just thought of something. What's the matter? Asks the girl. Tomorrow, I'll be alone again. Where do you live? Just by the railway station. Me too. We can meet in the park by the station. Now there's just one thing I wish for. What's that? To ride a roller coaster. It gives me butterflies in my tummy. Just then, the trains whistle that it's time to go home. But they do get to ride a roller coaster. The girl takes the red train and the boy takes the silver arrow. The moonlight rails stretch steeply up between the stars in the sky and down again so sharply that their tummies roll and tickle just as they should. They laugh and shout out with happiness because they know that tomorrow they'll see each other again in the park by the station. All right, so that is the end of the book, okay? So that was The Night Train, okay? So we note that this story is about a boy, and he doesn't have a name. So the author did not give the boy a name. He just kind of pretty much just named the boy, right? So the boy had just moved to a new town with his parents, and he was afraid that he didn't have any friends. And so he used his what? Not his thoughts, but he used his imagination to trick himself out, to bring himself comfort, to take himself to another place. And that is what brought him some comfort, that he imagined that he was out to a wonderland. He met a friend and they had a really good time. They went swinging and they rode a roller coaster and things like that. So sometimes we have to use our imaginations to take us to a different place. When we are scared or we are lonely or we are alone, we don't have anybody to talk to, we can use our imagination for the good, and we can go to different places, happy places, just like the boy in the book, okay, The Night Train. So tell me, what is your favorite book? Okay, and then maybe we can read that next time. Thank you for joining me. Take care.